Hi, my name is Jenny Lauren Dowden for Conduit News. Today we have Jim Wilson joining us in the studio. Jim is running for a brand new House district, and that is District 23. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
You live here in Northwest Arkansas,
Right.
in Fayetteville.
I live between Greenland and West Fork.
Okay.
Actually.
You have been involved in Republican politics, the Republican Party, for a very long time.
Right.
Talk to us about that.
Well, I became active in the local Republican Party back in the 80s. I served 2 terms as the first vice chairman during that time period. And then I became the 3rd district chairman. And after that, I became the first director of boards and commissions for Governor Mike Huckabee, served him for 3 years, and then spent 6 years as the chief of staff for Dr. Faye Bozeman at the Department of Health. And after his untimely death, I came back to Northwest Arkansas. And since that time, I've been a state committee man for the Republican Party here in Washington County, and then was the county chairman for a 2-year term. And I'm currently a JP in District 14, which includes Greenland, West Fork, and Winslow in Washington County.
During that time that you were part of the Republican Party, as you mentioned early in the beginning, Northwest Arkansas, especially, Republicans were in the minority at the time, and we've since changed that landscape quite a bit. Talk to us about that.
That's true. When I first became involved in Republican politics back in the 80s, when we talked to people, and I've been involved in recruiting people to run for office for years and years, but when we'd talk to someone about running, they'd say, well, I'm just not sure I could win as a Republican. And they might be very conservative. They might be pro-life and conservative about their money and things of that nature, but they would often say, I'm just not sure I could win as a Republican. So over a long period of time, we've been very methodical in what we've done in the county, and made great strides to where we are now a majority on the quorum court in Washington County.
Talk to us about your time as a JP, specifically here in Washington County. That's not an easy environment to be a JP.
Right. Even though we are the majority on the court, it's been very interesting because we've got a very vocal minority of people in Fayetteville who are basically opposed to anything conservative. I'll just put it that way, because we had a resolution to say that we're a pro-life county, and they opposed that and brought in all of their friends. We've tried to have a very conservative budget process, and that hasn't been something that they were very happy about. So it seems like any initiative that we take from a conservative standpoint, that very vocal minority opposes.
Talk to us, and then we'll move on to your House race. But last night you had a quorum court meeting.
Yes.
A resolution was brought forward to show the county's support of Dr. Karras, who has done a tremendous job in serving our community during this pandemic.
Right.
Talk to us about that.
Well, that resolution was just to thank him for the hard work that he's put in. It's my understanding there have been about 850 people that he's treated, either in the jail or something like that, that have for COVID, and that he hasn't lost anybody.
Right.
And so that seems like a really important feat.
Right.
And we wanted to praise him for that. And that passed last night.
That's great.
Yes.
He's done a fabulous job. Talk to us now about your race for District 23. That is a brand new area, new district. There's no incumbent. What made you transition from serving as a JP to saying, you know what, I want to now serve in the Arkansas Legislature?
Right. Well, District 23 is new, as you said. We have, it covers Greenland, West Fork, Prairie Grove, and Lincoln, and then the surrounding, area that surrounds that. With no incumbent involved there, it looked like a good opportunity to keep it in the Republican fold, and to add one more position for us. So I'm running for it. I am a conservative. I am pro-life, and I am certainly opposed to what I see going around in other places where they're teaching critical race theory and trying to push all kinds of stuff within the schools
Right.
that doesn't seem like they should. Now, I would say probably in many of our rural schools, which would be the ones in the area that I'm running for, we probably don't have much of a problem with that. But as you know, Jenny, in some other large schools in the
Right.
area, we do have a problem with
That's right.
that. And so I'm certainly wanting to see our conservative values continued in Arkansas, even if we can't affect at this level what happens in Washington and Oregon and Chicago. We can try to keep Arkansas in a conservative mode and doing the right thing by families to allow parents to have a say in how things are done within the school system and things of that nature. And of course, I want to keep taxes as low as possible because I think that it's important for the family to keep all the money they possibly can that they have earned. And that, I think people lose track on the other side. The family earns that money, and what the government extracts from them reduces what that family can do.
That's so true. And that's something that we strongly believe here at Conduit.
Right.
For this primary race, you do have an opponent.
I do have a primary opponent.
Yes. Talk to us about that and how you bring political experience to this race.
Right. Well, certainly when I was in the governor's office, we worked with the legislature and, dealing with legislation that was going through at that time. When I was at the Department of Health, there were issues of legislation that we had to deal with at the Department of Health. And so I've had experience working from the outside with the legislature, and I look forward to working on the inside at the legislature. I have had, a variety of experiences in the political realm, and it's all been geared towards, like I said a minute ago, trying to keep Arkansas as conservative as possible and not letting it go in the woke direction that you see in many other places.
What would you want people to know about you and your race?
Well, I'm first and foremost a believer. I'm an active member of Cross Church in Fayetteville, and we serve there every week, and we're happy to be there. So I try to live my life in a way that would be honorable and not to do anything that I shouldn't do. So I think those are important parts of it. And then combining that with attempting to be conservative in my political aspects, I think those things together would describe what I'm trying to do.
How can people find out more about your campaign and donate, get involved, help? What should they do?
Well, we haven't got a website, but I do have a post office box.
Okay.
If someone wants to make a donation, they can send it to the Jim Wilson Campaign at Post Office Box 153, Greenland, Arkansas 72737. And if they have questions, they want to call me, my phone number is 479-957-3379. Be glad to visit with people about the race.
Thank you so much for coming into Conduit. We hope to talk
You're
to
very
you
welcome,
again
and thank
soon.
you for having me.